And there we go. In my video. Oops, not quite sure. Okay, there we go. All right, welcome. So my name is Sharon Jakubecy, and for today's morning yoga class, I'm going to guide you through a shoulder and neck release practice. But I also want to really draw your attention to your jaw. Often when the neck and shoulders are tight, it's associated with the mouth, the tongue, and the jaw being held. So throughout the whole class today, I'm going to encourage you to let breath out of the mouth so that it can softly open. And that releases the masseter muscle. Your masseter muscle is the strongest muscle in your body per square inch. It's tiny, tiny but mighty. And when we release the jaw muscle and let the jaw soften down, the shoulders can soften down away from the skull, lengthening the neck and releasing the shoulders. Of course, if anything doesn't feel good, please listen to your body and don't do it. And I will do my best to offer many, 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 many options for you. And today we're going to get started on the floor on our backs. So what you can do on your back for your neck is just maybe a little rolled up towel. And when you lay on your back with a rolled up towel underneath your skull, that creates just a little suspension for the neck muscles. If there is no support, sometimes the head will drop back and the chin will lift, and that really shortens the neck. So just a little bit of lift underneath your head. And we'll start in supine. So waking up your body awareness. Noticing the contact that your body is making with the floor and the back. And letting breath out of the mouth. It could be an S sound, like a S. That creates a little bit of space in the mouth, and the masseter releases. A lazy F sound is also really nice. So a lazy F, you're not going like with any sort of effort, but a lazy F, so that the mouth isn't clenched. Noticing that not only are you allowing for that easy sound, but your torso is moving with your breath. And very gently letting your gaze move your head from side to side. So as you look to the right, the skull, the mask of the face rotates to the right. And as you look to the left, the mask of the face rotates to the left. And then the back of the head is shaped like a rocker. So maybe letting your head rock on your towel or your blanket that you're having on. Nice and easy. If you want, you can take your fingers at the back of the skull and slide the back of your head away from your shoulders. So the mask of the face will come down a bit. And that lengthens the neck. And then we'll come to our feet. So knees bent, feet on the floor, and cactus arms. So cactus arms is an easy stretch for the chest, which also opens the shoulders and the back. And letting the knees start small, letting the knees windshield wiper. So using that tiny sound, either the S or the F. And windshield wiper in the knees, warming up the low back. And sometimes I even like to encourage a lip flutter. So if you lick your lips and lip flutter is also a little diagnostic. It tells us if the jaw and the tongue are tight. So if it's a little difficult to lip flutter, there might be some holding. And then from here, you're going to bring the soles of the feet together, so like a floating butterfly. And you can hold the tops of the feet with your hands. And the feet sort of naturally want to push away from you. And so let that natural pull of the feet away from you take your arms and your shoulders down away from your skull. So rather than tightening the shoulders and using the arms to pull the legs closer, you're letting the legs take your arms and your shoulders down out of your neck. And you can even add a little bit of weight, pushing the feet away. And you'll notice how that lengthens the arms, lengthens the deltoids, the top of the arm. And then we'll take one leg up, so the foot is pointing up towards the ceiling, and then the second leg up towards the ceiling. If you want to lift your hips a little bit, and then let your low back find the floor, you can lengthen the low back. And then I prefer cactus arms here with the palms facing up. So this is release through the chest. Also lets the shoulder blades in the back rest on the floor. And then pushing through the heels to lengthen the backs of the legs. And then checking to make sure you're not lifting your chin. So that tightens the neck. So the chin is softening down, the back of the head is aiming away from your shoulders. And then you can either grab a strap or a belt, or you can take your hand behind your right thigh and extend the left leg down. But we're not going to let the left leg find the floor. Checking that you're not turned out in the feet, so the toes are pointing straight up. And then switching. If your low back is feeling good, you can switch without using the hands. And if your low back is a little tender, you can let one leg come up and then switch. So now we'll hold the left leg, let the right leg extend, really kicking through the heels. And the shoulders are down the back, away from the neck. And then we'll switch. So when you switch, if you want to take it easy on the low back, bring the right leg up and then take the left leg down. Or you can scissor the right and left legs, starting to get the abdominal wall a little warm. Maybe you hug your right leg a little closer to you, but without lifting the chin. That tightens the neck. And then switching, left leg. Bringing the left leg a little bit closer towards you, but without shrugging the shoulders. So if you use your elbows and bend your elbows out to the side, this doesn't go up into the shoulders and the neck. And then bring the right leg up. We'll extend the left leg. Now you can take it onto the floor. And from here, either grabbing a strap or holding the right leg with your right hand, holding the right ankle with the right hand, or holding the big toe with your peacemakers. And then checking that there's a little bit of space in the mouth. So you're not pushing your tongue to the top of your mouth. You're not gripping your lips. And then from here, taking the right leg out to the right. But we still want the left shoulder and left hip on the floor. So we don't want to roll over to the right. And I just happen to have a wall here, so I can use the wall. And then bringing the right leg back to center. And then you're going to take the left hand and either hold the outside of the right shin, the outside of the right ankle, or maybe you can grab the blade of the right foot and then take it across your body. If this is a little strong for the morning, you can bend both knees. And then through the right hip, really pushing down through your right hip. So you're not lifting the right hip up. That will shorten the right side of the back. So sending the right hip down towards your left foot. Easy in the mouth, easy in the tongue. And then you can fold the right knee and bring it over the belly. We'll take it up one more hug towards your body, but we don't want to lift the chin. And maybe you can lift your forehead up, but the shoulders are at ease. You're not working hard in the mouth, the tongue, the jib, the lips, the jaw, or the shoulders. And then bringing the left leg up to meet the right. Shake it out a little bit. Then let your right leg come down, and either using your strap, of course, or you can hold the leg with your hands. Flexing through the heel. Flexing through the right foot as well, so it stays on the floor. And then hugging the left leg a little bit toward you. Maybe you can take the left shin with your left hand, or take the left big toe with the left peace fingers, and the leg can go out to the side. Maintain your contact with the right shoulder and the right arm. Easy mouth, easy jaw. Really imagine the shoulder blades dropping away from the skull here. And then letting the leg come back up. Switching the hands, so right hand to the outside of the left ankle, or maybe you can get your right hand to the blade of the foot, and then hugging it across yourself for a little twist. So same thing on this side. If you want to be a little easier, a little softer, bending both knees. If you're feeling open, you can extend through both legs. And then folding the knee, coming back to your back. And then we'll come on to both feet, knees are bent. And then for this one, you might want to move the support underneath your head. We're going to have the feet about hips width distance. And then maybe you can brush your heels with your fingertips. The toes are pointing straight ahead, so we don't want a little turn out or turn in. And the knees are pointing in the direction of the second toe. And we're going to push through the soles of the feet to float the hips up for a bridge. And then here you can tuck your shoulder blades under and towards one another as you push up into bridge. So warming up backs of the arms, the backs of the body, the backs of the legs. As you push into your feet, maybe that opens the chest a little more. And then slowly melting down, one vertebrae at a time. We're gonna add our arms. So our arms are gonna move in arcs like this. And then they'll arc back down. So we'll arc the arms overhead as we push up into bridge. So see if you can match the movement of the arms with the movement of the pelvis. Strong arms, and then matching the movement as you roll down through the spine. Bring the arms down. And we'll do that again, pushing through the feet, moving the arms as the hips float up. Checking that the big toe and the ball of the foot are also making contact with the floor. You're not rolling to the outside of the foot. And then rolling back down. For this next one, we're going to leave our hands at our sides. And you're going to push through your feet, rolling up, just checking that the knees are pretty steady so you're not letting them rock in or out. Tucking the arms, the upper arms underneath you, and clasping your hands underneath your sacrum, your tailbone. As you push through the backs of the arms and the soles of the feet, the body lengthens to the front, and we don't want to over-tuck the chin. Your gaze is going up and your chin is not too tucked here. If you're feeling a little adventurous, you're going to put your weight into your left foot and let your right knee float up. And then let the right foot come back down. Finding steadiness through the backs of the arms, pushing to the floor on the right foot, then you can let your left knee float. No over tucking the chin. And then letting the foot come down. Unlacing the hands underneath you and rolling through the spine. Little moment here to let the body release that work. Letting breath out. Now, if your body says yes, as a counter stretch, we can actually go into a plow. But also with plow, we don't want to tuck the chin and flatten the neck out. So just either letting the legs come over, maybe the toes move in the direction of the floor. Maybe you can put your hands on your low back and then extend through the legs, through the heels. And the elbows are narrow, so we're not letting the elbows push out to the sides. And then bending the knees. Use your hands to walk your back slowly down. And hugging the knees, little rock side to side. And then we'll roll up and down. Start small as you roll through the spine. This is a nice way to massage the low back. And then a little bit of space in the mouth. Maybe that rock gets a little bigger. Just listening to what your back's telling you. Letting the jaw soften, letting the shoulders melt down. And then maybe land on your sit bones. And you can extend the heels parallel to the ground. So you have options here. You can hold behind the knees. You can put your hands behind you here, or you can reach the hands forward. And then standing through the legs, standing through the heels for both. Getting the front of the body warm. And let's see, about a little low boat. And a little high boat. I prefer to have my palms facing up because that actually opens the front of the chest and the shoulders. And a little low boat. And coming back down. Letting your ribs move with your breath. And then from here, let's roll over to our side. And come over to tabletop. So in tabletop, knees are right underneath the hip joints and your wrists are right underneath your shoulder joints. You're making a big rectangle with your wrists and your knees. And we'll do a little cat-cow here. So dropping the top of the head, dropping the tailbone as the mid-spine floats up. And as you push the floor away, the shoulder blades move on your back for cat. And then moving the whole spine, letting the gaze go forward, lifting the sits bones, arching the belly towards the floor, or cow. And allow for a little organic movement here. And then even hanging out, there's a little area that wants a little extra attention. From here, we'll come back to neutral. And then you're going to reach your hands further away and reach your sits bones back for extended puppy. So this is nice for the front of the shoulders, the armpits. If the armpit muscles are tight, it rounds the shoulders. Strong contact with the floor through your hands, so you're not tenting your hands. And then walk both arms over to the right, placing your right hand on top of your left, lengthening through the left side. And you're pushing your sits bones in the opposite direction of your left hand. And that nice lengthening through the left side. And then walking through center. Walking your hands over to the left. Left hand on top of the right. Reaching to the outside, to the pinky side of the right arm. And sending sits bones back. Walking back to center. We'll come up to tabletop. And from tabletop, put your weight into your left hand. Reach the right arm up and thread the needle. So you're going to take your right arm underneath your left armpit, tucking your chin so that protects your neck. Coming on to the temple or the cheekbone of the right side. Maybe you're reaching the left hand away. And then bring your left hand underneath your shoulder to push back up. And reaching through the right arm, opening the armpit, placing the right hand down. And we'll do the second side. You're going to push into your right hand, reaching your left arm up, opening the chest here, so nice twist, and then taking the left arm underneath the right shoulder. You can reach the right arm away from you. Checking if the mouth is soft, the jaw is not clenching. And then we'll take the right hand closer, pushing into the right hand, reaching up through the left. And comes back to tabletop. From here, we're going to reach the right arm forward. So the right thumb is pointing up. You're gonna reach the left toes back. And here, just rocking a little bit. So this can be nice for the calf muscle. As you push back, it lengthens the calf muscle. And then pushing to let the left heel leave the ground. And then here, bending the left knee, flexing the foot, taking the right arm behind you, thumb up, and grab the outside of the left ankle. And then kicking through the left foot. That'll also open the front of the chest, little twist. And then sometimes, just touching the heel. You have options. And then taking your time to extend through the left heel, reaching the right arm forward. And then bringing it down. Let's tuck the toes. Send the hips back for our first downward dog. So you can start with the knees bent. That actually allows you to lengthen through the spine. And then walk in the dog. So really listening to that calf. Seeing if this movement feels nice, or if you just want to hang out in one place. So here we're going to take our heels as close to the floor as possible. Maybe you might need to bring your left hand a little bit closer to center, and then you're going to take your right hand and reach for either your left knee, your left shin, or your left ankle. Slowly reaching the right hand forward. And then we're going to walk the hands forward. A little plank. The eyes of the elbows are pointing forward. Your hips are in line with the shoulders. And then we'll come down to a forearm. So in forearm plank, it's really easy to sort of drop into the shoulders. You want to push into the hands, the palms, the wrists, the elbows, the whole forearm, so your body comes up away from the floor in forearm plank. Forearm plank. And then walking your feet closer to your elbows toward dolphin. So we get a little bit of warmth in the shoulders. Pushing the floor away with your forearms. So you're not dropping, and then letting the head really dangle here. So you're not holding in your head. You definitely don't want to look out forward for this first one, letting the neck soften and lengthen. And then let your knees float down. And take it back for child's pose. How you doing? And for a little opening across the shoulder blades, you can also bring your fingertips toward your toes, so your arms are reaching behind you. And when you're ready, keep your hands underneath your shoulders and finding your way to a tabletop. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, and the eye of the elbows pointing forward. That actually engages underneath the shoulder. If the eye of the elbows pointing towards center and the elbows pointing out, it actually gets you more active in the traps. So spinning the elbows, the eye of the elbows forward, activates your lat muscles right here. So that's a little secret that helps our neck and shoulders release. And then we'll go through a little cat-cow. Pairing the movement with your breath. Maybe a little side-to-side action so you can look over towards your right heel and that curls the spine over. So go over towards your left heel. Maybe some circles here. Tucking in with the mouth, the lips, the tongue, the jaw. And then we're going to we're going to jump right to balancing table. So you're going to reach your right foot back, extending through the heel, and then reaching the left arm forward with the thumb pointing up like you're going to shake someone's hand, and a little rock back and forth here. So once again, we want to really use the lat muscle on the right side. Instead of the top of the shoulder, we shrink and drop into our shoulders, that tightens the traps. But if we really push through the right arm and the head and the heel are going away, the lats wake up. And then letting the right heel float up. Toes are dropping down towards the floor so the hips are neutral. Folding the right knee. Reaching back through the left hand, thumb side pointing up, that opens the chest. And then from here, this might be great right here. This might feel wonderful. If you want to go a little further, kicking through the right heel. And then looking over to the left. Slowly extending through the right foot. Extending through the left arm. Letting both find the floor. We'll tuck the toes. Push back to downward dog. So let's start with the knees bent first for downward dog. So the spine can really be long here. There's one line from your wrists to your sits bones. And taking care of your calf, whatever it's asking for. When you're ready, you can let the heels reach in the direction of the floor. Maybe for this next one, letting the right hand come a little bit towards center. And you're going to reach your left hand to the outside of the shin on the right leg. Maybe lower towards the ankle, or maybe all the way down towards the ankle. Bringing the left hand forward again. We'll let the shoulders float forward over the wrists for a plank. Coming down to your forearms. So push the floor away. And send the back of your head across the room, away from your shoulders. Shoulders are spreading apart here. And then you can walk your feet towards your elbows for dolphin. Push the floor away with your elbows and your forearms. And then let your knees find the ground. For child's pose. Good job. Let your mouth have a little bit of space. Let the upper and lower molars have a little bit of space. And bring your hands forward to roll up. We're going to come to a downward dog. Let's find our way to downward dog. Reaching the left foot behind you. Stepping it through for a lunge. From lunge here, we're going to walk our hands over to center for a straddle, forward, fold. So maybe you can dangle here a little bit and shake the head yes, shake the head no. Allowing the jaw to be loose here. We need both hands underneath your head. You're going to extend a little half lift here. And then reaching your left hand right underneath your face. You're going to reach your right hand up. Little twist here. The spine is long, so you're not curled through the chest. And then bring the right hand down. From here, we're going to half lift again. And then coming all the way up to standing. If you're, you can bend your knees to come up. That's a little bit easier on the low back. We'll take the hands behind us, lacing the fingers. You're going to reach your knuckles down towards the floor. Let your sternum float up towards the ceiling. We don't want to crunch the neck, and we really don't want to overarch the low back. So it's more of an extension up through the front of the body, squeezing the shoulder blades together, but not squeezing the low back. And then folding forward. You can bend your knees to fold forward. Maybe the hands move away from the back. Letting the palms slide down to underneath the face. Half lift. Bending the knees to come up. And then from here, you're going to take your right hand behind you. You're going to take your right hand in your left hand and hug it around to the left hip. And then you're going to reach your left ear towards your left shoulder. That opens the trapezius. And then moving the head back up, taking the arms out to the sides. And step the right foot in. You're going to float your right knee up and around and over. So maybe it's just this cross, or maybe you can wrap the foot around the calf, or maybe your toes touch the ground. And then you're going to take your left hand underneath your right arm for eagle pose. Eagle pose is great for the back of the shoulders and the shoulder blades. So you're going to float your elbows away from you and a little bit up. soft jaw. And then unwrapping the right leg, taking the arms out to the sides. Now you're going to step your right foot out and your left foot back for the opposite lunge. And then bringing the arms around and stepping back to downward dog. Sending the heels towards the floor, wrapping the elbows under. That engages the lat muscles and the muscles underneath the shoulder blade instead of the traps. And then here you're going to extend your right leg behind you. Reach it through in between the hands for lunge. And then walking to center for straddle. We're going to half lift and bring the right hand underneath the face. And then reaching the left arm up, a little openness across the chest. So maybe you just look over to the side, maybe you look down, or maybe you look in the direction of your left hand. And bringing the hand back down. You can bend the knees to come back up standing. And then we're going to reach the hands around. See if you can grab the opposite grasp. It's usually the odd grasp. So the first grasp usually is our normal grasp, and then the second grasp will feel funny. You're going to take your knuckles down towards the floor, letting the chest open, letting the bottom of the shoulder blade hug towards each other, and the shoulders at the same time go down the back. Gentle gaze up. And folding forward. You can let the knees fold to take care of the low back. So maybe hands resting on the sacrum are enough. Maybe you can reach the knuckles towards the ceiling, or maybe you can reach the knuckles across the room. Unclasping the hands, letting them slide down the legs to the floor, folding the knees to come back up to standing. Now we're going to step the right leg in. We're going to wrap the left thigh over the right. Maybe you can wrap the foot or have it rest at the side, or the toes can be on the ground, so eagle legs. And then taking the right arm underneath the left for eagle. Send your elbows away from you. And if there's a little bit of movement, that's fine. Unwrapping the legs, unwrapping the arms. We'll lunge back over with the left leg forward. Cartwheeling the arms. Coming to the knees. And then coming to our seat. So you can always grab a little something to put underneath the hips. So if you find that there's a little rounding through the spine when you're seated here, a little bit of lift underneath the hips helps the front of the spine lengthen, which then also helps the neck and shoulders to release. So you're going to take your left hand onto the ground, and you're going to take your right arm out. And then reaching across the room. So the palm is facing down. You can even change the gaze so you're looking down. And then you're going to reach the right arm up and over. So the gaze is still going down towards the left, but then you're going to reach the right arm away from the right ear. So lengthening the tops of the trunk. Check the spine, check your jaw so you're not rounding here. We want a long belly, extended spine. And floating back to center. And pull the shoulders out a bit. Then you'll take your right hand to the floor. We'll reach the arm out to the side first to make the movement as big as possible. And then up. And then over. Reaching your left fingertips out of your left low back. You can take the gaze down. That changes the experience, the shoulder and the neck. And then reaching the left fingertips up and over. Your gaze is still down, and then you reach your left fingertips towards the floor, away from the left ear. And gently floating, center. Rolling the shoulders. Notice how your shoulder blades move on your back when you roll your shoulders. On our shoulder blades, most people just think the top of the shoulder blade where the traps get tight, but the bottom of the shoulder blade is like an arrow pointing down your back. So we want to be more aware of the bottom of the shoulder blade. And so then now here we're going to take your right arm across your body, hugging the right arm. And then here, really easy to lift the shoulders here, letting the shoulder blades go down the back, letting the mask of the face float down just a millimeter, so you lengthen the back of the neck while you do the stretch. And then swiping the right arm all the way out, big movements. We move with like a full extension. It's actually so much easier on the neck and shoulders. And then we'll do the same thing on the left. So reaching out first and then taking it across the body. The shoulder girdle is resting down. Back of the head floats a tiny bit up, lengthening the back of the neck. Arm and shoulder blade are down. And then we'll unwrap the arms, letting the left fingertips reach away. Then we'll do cow face arms. So cow face arms, folding the right elbow overhead. So here are a couple options. You can just hug the elbow next to your skull or behind your skull, but you don't want to dip your face down. There's still that length through the spine. You can also reach the left arm back behind you. This is where strap can be really helpful. A little bit of softness in the mouth. And then unwrapping the arms. Left arm, left elbow up towards the ceiling. You can hug it. We don't want to dip down. Spine is lengthening, extended up toward the ceiling. And then maybe taking the right arm behind you. Slowly unwrapping the arms. We're going to take the fingertips behind our hips. And then we're going to reach the sternum up towards the ceiling, reach the fingertips behind you, and then lengthening through the front of the body. So a little mini back bend here, which is more of a heart opener, chest opener. But we don't want the head to go too far back because it'll crunch the neck. Maybe letting the mouth hang open. That's actually easier than trying to keep the mouth shut here. And then you're going to bring your knees up and wrap yourself around your knees. So lengthening and releasing the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders here. And then gently unraveling. And we'll come down to our backs. Once again, you can have a little something underneath your head so that provides a little stretch and a little length through the back of the neck. Can be easier to come onto your side. So if your low back is a little tender or just want to be a little easier, you can roll to your side first and then come onto your back. And let's hug the knees in. Massage. As you hug the knees in, so you can let the elbows and the shoulder blades move down the back. And then you're going to bring your forehead toward your knees. Gently letting the head follow the floor. And I'm going to put a little lift underneath my head. And then we'll go into some happy baby. Space in the mouth. The upper and lower molars are not touching. You can rock a little bit side to side. Extending one leg and then rocking to the other side, extending the other leg. Or you can extend both legs, a little supine straddle. But nothing is worth clenching the jaw. Be stirring the knees in circles. Let's do a little banana stretch. You're going to come onto your side and then reaching your fingertips and your toe tips back. A really nice opening through the whole front of the body. And then rolling back to the back. Into the second side. Banana stretch. Reaching behind you. Maybe a big yawn and stretch here. So yawning is another great way to release the jaw, the tongue, the lips, the back of the throat. And then finding your way to final resting pose. Letting your shoulder blades rest onto the floor. Letting your upper and lower molars have a little bit of space. With palms facing up. It allows for a little release across the chest. Letting the muscles of the arms scrape off the bones. letting your shoulder muscles dangle towards the floor. And go around your ribs, not a cage. They move. You let your arms move a little further away from you, little cactus arms. The armpit muscles have some space. Intimate connections of the jaw, neck, and the shoulders. So you let go of your body, it just falls into the floor. You can let go of your eyes. Letting your body breathe you. You can begin to slide your thumbs against your fingertips. Reaching through the fingers and the hands, the toes and the feet. Rolling out the wrists and the ankles, bringing your awareness back into your body. And maybe a nice yawn and stretch. Roll to your side. So when we come up to a seated position, that's very tempting to let the shoulders come up towards the ears. So here, if you look towards the floor and let your shoulder blades and your arms go down your back, lengthens the neck. And then you'll push into the top hand while the ears and the shoulders are coming away from each other to push yourself up to a seated position. On an out breath, the jaw softens down away from the cheekbones, and the shoulders and elbows soften down away from the skull. The palms facing up, that also helps the chest. Listen to it. I hope your neck and your shoulders are feeling looser and more open. You have a deeper awareness of the jaw and the shoulders. We'll reach out and up with the palms facing toward the ceiling, to bring our hands together. And then bring the thumbs to the third eye in between the brow. And we'll bow forward here. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and practicing with me. I really appreciate being with you and teaching you.